Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Latin America show. My name is Enrique Gelista, and it's a pleasure for me to be tonight with all of you. And of course, well, I would like to ask you to share this video with all your friends, with all your relatives. It's very easy. You are on Facebook, so just put the button that says share or compartir if you have the Spanish version. So, well, in order that more people, they know exactly what are we doing, the Latin American people across the world. So, well, today we have prepared a fantastic show for you. So you can follow us in the different networks, social networks that we have. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So remember that, well, it's the Latin America show. It's very easy to find us. You just have to type the Latin America show. So, well, today we have prepared an amazing country. That amazing country is going to be Brazil. So we're going to have the opportunity to talk with two experts. One is the expert about tours, and the other one is an expert about art. So it's an amazing work that both of them, they have done during the years, and we have the opportunity to have them here in the Latin America show. If you have seen the promo, you have seen a little bit of the things that they are doing. Alex and Arnaldo, they are going to be here with us. But before I start the show, I would like to introduce my friends, mis amigos, Roger Alarcon.
Hola, mi amigo. Hello, everyone. How are you? It's good to see you all over again this week. Today it was a bit cold in the morning, but then the day was so good, and now it's okay for a London day. So I hope that you enjoyed today the program. So we're gonna talk about Brazil. So get ready.
Excellent, my dear Roger. And on the other side, we have the beautiful Spanish teacher. She's Whitney Nochereno. How are you, Whitney?
Thank you, Enrique. Can you hear me all right, guys? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just really excited to talk about Brazil, to talk about art, to talk about tourism, and finally, a little Portuguese. I'm not a Portuguese speaker, so be kind, and how it looks like compared to Spanish. So stay tuned.
Excellent, Whitney. So, well, as we said before, and what we have said, we are going to talk about Brazil. The pronunciation in Spanish is Brasil, so it's also with an S instead with a Z. And, well, of course, this is the flag. It's interesting because the origin of this country is like when Portuguese, they arrived to this country, they saw a lot of, and well, at least what I found on the internet is like, well, when they arrived there, they found a lot of trees that they are like Pau Brasil. So that's the reason why the name of this country is coming from. And also, well, this is the flag, and the flag, well, it has the colors that it was like part of the imperial flag. However, also they have a constellation, and they have, like, as you can see, they have 27 stars. 26 represents the different states that they have, and one is the federal district. And also it's interesting because, well, it's like these stars also, they are exactly the same that the constellations that you can see from Brazil. And in the middle of the flag, it has a phrase saying order and progress. So if we move forward and just to know a little bit more about Brazil, this is Brazil, this is where it's located. Brazil is a massive country. Is one of the biggest countries in the world. So Brazil has borders with 10 countries, almost all the countries in South America. Only with Chile is the one that doesn't have any border. And also, well, it has a massive coast with the Atlantic Ocean. So it's the biggest country in South America, and the official name is Federative Republic of Brazil. As I said, it's split in 26 states and one federal district. The population is around 210 million people. Is the sixth in the world populated. The second in America, the continent. The first one is the United States. The second is Brazil, and is the most populated country in Latin America. The official language is the Portuguese, and the capital is Brasilia. Brasilia also, it has around 2.5 million people. It's not the largest city in Brazil. The largest city is Sao Paulo, that has roughly between 10 and 11 million people. And Rio de Janeiro, also, they have 6 million people. So Brasilia, even is the capital, is not the most populated. And well, as I said before, there are three main cities, that is Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Brasilia. And maybe you have listened about Fortaleza and Belo Horizonte, that also Fortaleza and Belo Horizonte, they are more populated than the capital, Brasilia. Also, the independence, they celebrate the independence yesterday. So congratulations to all our friends that they are from Brazil. The 7th of September of 1822. So they celebrate 198 years of independence from Portugal. And the currency is the real, and the area that they are covering is just massive. I can tell you that, well, the extension that they have is 8 million square kilometers, well, 8 million and a half, that is around 3.2 million square miles. Just that you have an idea, this is bigger than Australia. It's the 5th country largest in the world. The 3rd largest in America, the continent. The first one is Canada, the second one is United States, and the 3rd one is Brazil. It's the first one, of course, in size in South America. And just to compare a little bit, is 35 times the United Kingdom. So, as I said, if we can see a map and we can see the size of Australia, this one is bigger. So, of course, things that we know about Brazil is the first producer of coffee in the world, the 2nd producer of raw sugar in the world. Also, broiler and meat, the poultry they are producing, they are the 2nd producer in the world, the 3rd producer of corn, and the 5th in planes, helicopters, and spacecrafts, and also the 10th in producing oil. So it's interesting because also one of the things that we were seeing about Brazil is that, well, it's so extended and so big that, well, they have more than 4,000 airports to connect the entire country. So it's just an amazing place that you can visit. Of course, they have an amazing jungle that we know, the Amazons, but it's so extensive. So talking about Brazil, it could take us days because just the extension is so big and the diverse that they have is fantastic. And talking about diverse, I can tell you that it's one of the most multicultural, ethnically diverse, because Brazil during the time, they have suffered a lot of migrations from different countries. So that's the reason why they are very diverse. And well, of course, maybe you know about different carnivals, and of course I think so they are very well known about football, about samba, about all these carnivals and dances that they have. And I think it's one of the most it's one of the most important countries. Well, we would say most important countries, but well, most famous countries in Latin America. So, well, we have the opportunity to know more about Brazil because, well, we have a fantastic guest and he's going to tell us a little bit more about Brazil. And of course, he is Arnaldo, and Orlando, well, also he is the president for the tour guides in Rio. And well, we have the opportunity to talk with him and we will have the opportunity. Also, I would like to invite you to share in our side of commentaries. If you have any question, let us know, give us all your feedback, commentaries, let us know which countries you want to know, or if you have any relatives or friends that maybe they would like to join us and to come here to the show and let us know about what are they doing. It could be people from different countries, but they are related with Latin America, or it could be Latinos that they are just doing something important that maybe we should share in this program. So I'm very glad to have Arnaldo here with us. Arnaldo, good afternoon for you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
How are you, Arnaldo? Where are you based now?
I am in Rio de Janeiro. It's my home city, my born city.
Well, and also it's a crowded one.
Yeah, sure. Rio is the main gate for international tourists in Brazil. No way, Rio is really the gate.
And actually, when you're talking about tourism and everything, I would like to start this conversation asking you, because, well, you're a journalist, but also you're president for the the tourist guides in Rio. So I would like to start asking you first, is like, why did you, or when did you decide to say, I would like to dedicate my career for tourism?
Then I am first a journalist. I graduate as a journalist, worked 10 years in television, mainly coordinating what's on the air. But once I had the opportunity to help my parents with a tourism transportation company, because my brother used to work as a hill handling in a income company. And that year was 1991, just before the Echo 92, that was the bigger Earth Summit that we had in the whole history, and was here in Rio de Janeiro, was an ecological conference. And we had at that time about 13 cars rented for the Taiwan delegation. And then I began to help them and never left.
Okay, so well, it's like, and how is this transition? Because yes, as you were saying, you're first a journalist, and well, I think so. It was part of your experience that well, you decided to become, well, to move your life or your career for tourism. Because what was this kind of spark, or what was this kind of decision that you took and said, yes, I'm going to go for this way?
It was to be a tour guide. Was a way that I found that I could be using my communication side that I got in my graduation as journalist to work with people and to be with people, to visit nice places, to be with nice people in nice places, and learning and discovering and making people learning and discovering as well about our culture, not just in Brazil, but mainly in Rio, Brazil. And I'm not a person to be inside an office 8 hours per day, 7 days a week. I like to be outside, outdoor, and that where I found that this is perfect for me. You know?
And for example, if I'm just, well, if I'm planning to travel to Brazil, and this is going to be a very difficult, I'm going to put you in a very difficult position, but I'm going to ask you, what could be, if there's no problem with money or time or commuting between the places. It's like, what could be the 5 main activities that people, they must do if they go to Brazil? It could be trying food. It could be doing, I don't know, like outdoors. It could be like going to a museum or a stadium or something. It's very difficult, but it's like the 5 ones that you will say, if you are coming to Brazil, you cannot miss this.
And first of all, as your introduction was about how big is Brazil, how diverse is Brazil. Then first of all, I'll suggest 5 places to be visited. For sure, Rio de Janeiro is the first one. But we have Salvador, that's the capital of Bahia state, that had been the first capital of Brazil, because Rio had been the second, Salvador the first, Rio the second, and now we have Brasilia. Then Salvador is the first capital, a lot of history, but also the main Afro-Brazilian culture, where you find really, you can go deep inside religion, music, about Afro-Brazilian culture. Then Rio, Salvador, that's the capital of Bahia state. Iguaçu Falls, that's also unbelievable. The Amazon, that's something that everyone must go once in their life to understand the power of nature. That's really pleased to understand that, and to have more and more this concept of preservation. And the beaches. We have about 7,000, more than 7,000 kilometers of coast, with several different kind of beaches and sceneries. Then these 5 things that I think, 5 places that I should say. But beside that, music, samba, bossa nova, chorinho, forró, food, barbecue, feijoada, our black beans stew, that's very typical as well, seafood, drinks, beer, but also our national drink, caipirinha. And for sure, I have to talk about people. The best experience that you can have visiting Brazil is to be in touch with the people. It's really unbelievable how are helpful people, friendly people, people that if you ask where is the street, they won't tell you, they hold your arm and they take you there. And this is, I think, that the main experience that you could have is to be in touch with the people.
Okay, and well, now if I'm going to Rio, well, you said the problem is that, well, it's like there are a lot of questions coming to my mind, and I'm just not following my script that I have here. But yeah, it's like, but making it easy. If I'm going to go to Rio, what could be like the 5 things that I have to do in Rio?
Then we have two that are the traditional most famous one, that the Christ statue, that I would say that's the touristic icon of Brazil, not just Rio de Janeiro. And it's not just the statue itself, but it's where we have a complete view of the city, is where you can understand the whole city of Rio de Janeiro. Beside that, we have Sugarloaf. There is the picture of Christ statue. Sugarloaf, that's the second main landmark, but it's a different viewpoint, a little closer, but a really charming view. But beside these two, I would say that there are some things that you must do. For example, when I say to be in touch with people, is to visit places where people go. And I'm talking about going to the beach, some outdoor events. And you had mentioned very fast something that I should say: go to a soccer stadium, a football stadium. We call football because we play with the feet, you know. Then go to a stadium, and it's unbelievable, because it's a place when there is a goal of your team, is when you give a hug to someone that you never saw in your life, you know. And this something, it's like a catharsis, and I mean, it's a therapy, you know. I don't pay psychiatry. I go to the stadium.
Well, that's a good one, and also it's like, for example, it's like, and I would like just to move forward, because, well, as you are president of the Association of Tourist Guides in Rio, it's like, what are your? I think it's like it's a big responsibility, and
Yeah.
and I think so. I'm going to link this one with another question that Whitney has. But, well, it's like, what are the main responsibilities that you have as a president of this association?
Then, first of all, I have to clarify that in Brazil, to be a tour guide, you have to have a kind of a badge, a credential that is made by the tourism ministry. Then if you don't have this document, you are not considered a tour guide. To be a tour guide, you have to have this document. And and talking about these official tour guides, in Rio de Janeiro state, where our association is located, we have 34% of all tour guides in Brazil, in the whole country. Then 34% of all professional tour guides in Brazil are in Rio de Janeiro state. Then the first responsibility is to take care of the association that represents more than 1/3 of tour guides in the whole country. But also this moment that we are having in the whole world right now, that I don't like to call in that way, but is a way to understand how important had been for everyone, is because we are living like a third world war. You know, it's not a war that we saw in the other times, but it's everyone is involved. There is no neutral side. You know, everyone is involved in this. And this moment made something that all tour guides in the whole world, not just in Brazil, in the whole world, they are asking for some support for their governments, because we had been the first activity to stop suddenly, and we don't know when we can go back to our activities as we were before. For sure that we have something happening, but nothing that really represents nothing that we had before this crisis. Then here in Brazil, and I told you that we are now having in the City Congress of Rio de Janeiro a voting about a law that's like a way to help the tour guides with a minimum salary to support this time that we still have ahead of us. But we have a law in the state of Rio, and we are fighting for a federal law, a national one, because this is, if we don't have that, we have a lot of professionals with 20, 30, 40 years of experience that are going to move to other activities. And then the country, the cities and states, we're going to lose this experience, these people. And this is now really the most important responsibility that we have. But looking for always getting better quality of our professionals, organizing seminars, congress, courses, meetings, technical meetings, to make people be always very updated. And I mean, looking for good, I mean, salaries or money they get by their service. I mean, everything that goes around the profession, we have to be really aware and very responsible all of this.
It's kind of like you read our minds, because that was kind of our next question. What and if the government does support you, and I truly hope that they do, what do you think the new normal will be as far as tourism post-COVID? Similar to like how if we go back to schools, we're wearing masks, we're social distancing. How do you think it'll impact not just the tourism agency or business overall, but how will tours, do you think, how will they be impacted and changed to be able to continue tourism in Brazil, but safely?
Yeah. Dan, this is a really good question and deserve a good answer as well. But the thing is that we have already in the state of Rio, not just the city, I'm talking about Rio because it's my main area, but in whole Brazil, it's happening. But I'm using Rio as an example. We are reopening the tourism attractions and tourism activities. But in the last weekend, the examples are not really good, because we had prepared a lot of new, I don't know if I can say in English, a new protocols or new rules
protocols.
Protocols, and including masks, social distance, alcohol gel, all this stuff. But unfortunately, people are not respecting. And when I say people, I'm talking about the tourism attractions, the transports, and the people itself. But in my opinion, unfortunately, the authorities in Brazil are not giving good example. Then we have still a very hard time I mean, because imagine now without a vaccine, without a medicine, if I tour guide, I go and guide the group in all these places that we have, Christchurch, Sugarloaf, wherever, I'm putting myself in risk. And then is a big doubt. Work to get some money because we are already 6 months without working, or avoid it.
Yeah,
still a doubt.
Yeah, I hope the tourist industry isn't impacted. I understand. I teach and I'm back in a school in a building, so I completely understand, and I hope it works out for you guys, that the vote goes well.
Yeah, we are in a big organization, and our association in Rio is working with all associations and syndicates around Brazil, exactly to find the best way, not just for us tour guides, but to everyone. I mean, we have to concern about the people in general, not just about us. And this is something that we ask everyone. Yes, you can travel, please travel, because our industry depends on it. But be conscious and avoid this kind of way of, I mean, being in a crowd place and no masks and all this, because this is good for everyone, not just for me, for you. It's good for everyone. But I understand that the market will really burn again, probably middle of next year, when we have the vaccine and all this, but still is something that we have to get in use with this new time.
Correct. And also, I think that you touch an important point, that is like, as at the beginning you said, this pandemic is to everybody. So it concerns the complete world. So as you were saying, if you have the opportunity, once this is over, just travel everywhere. Yeah, it doesn't matter which country. All the world requires and needs your support to travel to Brazil or here into Europe or wherever. If you have opportunities once this is over, just do it, because it's not only the tourists, it's all the collateral industry across tourism that is like a massive one. All the people that they are doing handicrafts, all the people that they are working for their raw materials, etc. So it's a massive impact. So we need to join and all the efforts, and we just to be very humans in order to support all of us and just to support us each other. It doesn't matter the country, it's all of us. We have to be aligned in that way just to support all the world, because all the world is in crisis.
If you allowed me, it's really important what you said, because we have some direct consequences of tourism market that includes hotels, transportation, we tour guides, the tourism attractions and all this. But we have an indirect consequence that people don't realize sometimes, because you buy a water or a wine, a beer in a supermarket, or a medicine that you need in a pharmacy, then you have some spends that are not directly to tourism market, but it's an indirect that if you measure all this, tourism could be the most important industry in the whole world. And polluting less, if you do it in a nice way, if you do it in a legal way, using legal companies and transport and tour guides and all this, could be, we have cities here, and Rio is one of those, but we have small cities in Rio State that depends just on tourism. Then their tourism secretary should be the most important one, the one that should say, we have to go in this way, because a city that's good for a tourist is good for a citizen. If it's good for a citizen, it's good for a tourist as well. Then I think that the world must understand even better the way that tourism could be good for everyone.
Correct. And well, one of the advice that I will do to all the audience is that, well, if you are going to have a trip after this pandemic finish and this lockdown is over, choose one of the countries in Latin America, and Brazil is a very good option. And of course, well, Arnaldo, where people they can find more information about you, how they can contact you?
Then have my email, but also all my social medias in Instagram, Facebook, and I want to make an advice here, if you allow me. On the September 27th is the International Tourism Day. In that day, September 27th, in the morning, would be after lunch in Rio, in US a little early, in Europe a little late. That's why we're making this time. I will launch my own virtual tour. That would be the first one. And that first one would be about looking for the girl from Ipanema. Then we'll be in the section, the district of Ipanema, trying to find the girl from Ipanema.
Okay.
Then, yeah, I like to make people know that would be on the September 27th, International Tourism Day. And this would be an opportunity to find me. Look for my name, Arnaldo Bichucher, in all these social medias. And the email is so quite easy, like Bichucher, that's the surname, @hotmail.com. Easy.
Excellent. Anyway, we're going to put all your details here on our page that, well, of course, they can follow you on Facebook. I know that also you have YouTube videos and everything. So thank you very much, Orlando. Please don't go. You can stay here with us, because now I would like to just well, I think so Roger Alarcon is the one who is going to introduce our next guest. So Roger, over to you.
Well, today we are honored because we have one of the amazing artists in the world. Yes, as you hear it, well, in the world. Senna is an artist, an illustrator from Sao Paulo, widely known for his expressive worlds of 90 characters that usually revolve around love, romance, friendship that brings an overwhelming softness of the great urban surroundings. Alex has exhibited and painted murals in Brazil, England, Italy, South Korea, Russia, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Spain, well, all around the world. He's a fantastic artist. He's good at painting massive to Alex Senna.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. Welcome. Welcome to the Latin America show. We will be very honored to have an artist of your caliber because you've been around all the world. I understand you're a self-taught artist. Who were your influences and how the impact of your style and techniques and creativity?
First of all, hello to everybody. Well, I started drawing since I was a kid. I'm from the countryside of São Paulo, and I have a lot of people in my family that draws a lot. And well, my influences are Brazilian cartoonists, Maurício de Souza, Ziraldo. Americans, I like Walt Disney, Will Eisner. I'm very related to comics, so that's my base. That's where I started. So I could say that.
And how tell us? I know that was your beginnings, but how when it starts to get bigger, then you do it big, massive art on the streets.
Yeah.
If the size matter.
Yeah. Not always actually, but I started doing graffiti and slowly changed it to different ideas, like the image that I put on the street. They always have like some kind of story. With time, I wanted to make it bigger always, and always try to find bigger spaces to paint. I could say that the change happened when I travel outside of Brazil, because it's when I started to have more the opportunity to paint the big spaces. Because to paint big spaces, you need infrastructure, you need equipment, a lot of stuff that sometimes is not easy to get here in Brazil.
And how you start to call yourself a muralist? How the journey started?
I mean, the name muralist, it came to me actually not too long ago. It's something new to me, because since I said to you that I started doing graffiti, to me in my mind thinking, I was always doing graffiti. And when I realized and studied more and painted in different places with different artists, I understand that what I was doing was muralism. I started to understand what was happening. I think it's something that happened to me like 2009, that I kind of take the graffiti to the different place.
Well, we saw some of the images. You do some stuff here in London, in England. How was the treat in London? How you find express yourself as an artist in London? It was difficult?
No. Actually, I love it. It was the in my journey, let's say like this, London is the first place that I went that gave me a different idea of what I was doing. I went to London to stay in a friend's house, and I stayed 40 days in London, and I painted like 30 murals around.
Wow! Yeah. So basically, you was working instead of enjoying.
No, the thing is, I was doing small stuff, not big and how can I say? The thing is, I never experienced the summer, the European summer. So when I was in London and the day has like a lot of hours, and to me it was different. So I was enjoying and painting 2, 3 stuff during the day. So it was very quick, and I was not planning to paint this much. It just happened. And after London, I started to travel to different countries and and do what I'm doing, or before the pandemic.
And you here in London, the street art has got like a very, very big value because we have here Banksy. Do you feel identify with those kind of artists where are here in London? They are very appreciated.
Yeah, I admire some of them. They're clever and have nice stuff. It's to have this stuff happening in London is like a coin. You have both sides. So for a good side, you have like a very good artist that bring a lot of attention to street art and money and light. I don't know. And at the same time, you have the you don't know more what is a good artist or a bad artist, who is doing for because he believes, or who is doing just for amusement. I don't know. It gets weird. But London has a good. To me, was like I love Stick, Banksy. There's a bunch of people in London that I like.
Sorry, Roger. I have a question, and sorry, but it's like, um, first, when you are doing this graffiti and everything, and this is a question in two parts, but well, the first part is like, when you're doing a graffiti and everything, these murals, did you create a sketch before and you know exactly how you're going to represent it, or is something that is just coming to your mind? And I'm splitting into the question because when we were watching this video and you're doing it, it's like, well, normally some of the artists, they create a sketch and they put it in the Canva with maybe with pencil or something, and later on they start painting. But you don't have that opportunity. And also, you have it go in one way, you are just putting the paint. And how do you know that it's like the correct measure and you are not doing a bigger face or a small face, or one eye is bigger than the other one? Or it's like, well, maybe I don't have that skills, and maybe that's the reason why I'm saying this, because, well, it's like even I'm trying to do, I don't know, a small draw and everything is going to be terrible. But how are you creating this, or how is it from the beginning? Do you create this sketch, and later on, how did you manage the size?
When you're doing the classic graffiti, you don't have too many time to look for a sketch. So you have something already very simple and quick in your that you just make in 5 minutes. If you're doing like a mural, and it's I can work in both ways, freestyling, but usually I create a sketch. And if it's like a big project, like a big building that you have like deadlines and you have like people that are sponsoring you, so it's so I don't do freestyle in this kind of stuff. I have to make a project, and to make it the scale thing that I think you're asking, how to make the nose or this kind of thing, is technique. Like you have to make a grid or a guide so you can follow. For example, if you are painting a building, they have like 10 windows. So when you put the drawing over the sketch, where the drawing out. Oh, so the nose is gonna pass through the first window, and the ear is gonna pass through. Where you have to put the stuff. It's a way to know where everything goes.
Yeah, to have a kind of references in order that, well, you know exactly what is going to be the size, more or less.
And also, I know Whitney's got a question, but before that is, I know you, and this is very important. I know your main themes of your art is love, romance, and friendship. What inspired you to focus on these topics?
Yeah, let's say that this idea of the love and friendship, this is my, how can I say, you know, when a band make a hit and people remember them because of this hit. So my first hit, I made this love and friends and family. It was in the time. What happened is I like to, my work now is more about melancholic kind of thinking, you know. But the idea of the family and the love was in 2009 when I started uh, doing more black and white work. The the scene in São Paulo was very aggressive. A lot of pichação, which is a lot of tags, a lot of information, like very colorful graffiti and very hip hop kind of main thing. And so I started doing these like lovely characters and very melancholic in the city. It was, they have like this kind of contrast, you know. Here in São Paulo is different from Rio. Rio is beautiful. São Paulo is gray and very is very a lot of buildings. Like the beauty of São Paulo is the chaos. Is the chaos. To me, as a street artist, a muralist, São Paulo is very chaotic in the architecture and the urbanism. So to me, that I like to paint walls is good, but it's kind of tricky, you know, how it's itself. I don't know. It makes sense.
Mm. It's like you read our minds. That was my question about painting in black and white, because like you said, there's a lot going on in Brazil and street art and whatnot. So I know for like melancholy and those themes you paint in black and white, but is there any other particular reason to kind of avoid the color overall, even in some of the more like happier or more content images that you've painted?
I mean, I'm colorblind. Yeah, but only with
like green and red or those colors. Yeah.
And I actually, the truth is I never use it. I never like it to use colors in my life. Is when I started doing street work in painting in the streets, I actually started doing very, very colorful because I was very influenced by classic graffiti, you know, very colorful, all the letters. But when I stopped like using like this reference of the hip hop and graffiti and start doing my drawings that I was doing in my sketchbook, it's when it changes because I stopped doing something that was bigger than me and start to tell my own stories.
Okay, thank you. I know a lot of people probably have been noticing that in the videos. And just for all the fans, I'm posting right now where you can find your work in London for those who are in the UK, which is phenomenal work. So thank you for that.
I don't know if
sorry, Alex.
No. I don't know if I still have some work alive in London.
There's some in the East End. There is. I just posted something. I've seen it a few years ago. I think it's still in today, but it's on the Facebook if people want to check it out. Some of the like those, for instance, on like Bacon Street, Hanover Street, those kinds of streets in the east part of London.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of these ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're still around. Probably not entirely, but there's kind of some form of them. For the fans who want to visit, it could be an amazing.
This is 2013, I guess.
Yeah, but you know what? Here, and I know, for example, in various places, they tried to keep the essence of the graffitis, because here, as I said to you before, it's like a culture. It's like appreciation for your street
Yeah.
art. So that's why here in England is very appreciated.
Yeah. No, right now I'm working with a gallery in London, and I always have some support from some people in somebody from London. So I have.
Can we know the name of the working?
Oh yeah, of course. Well, why not? So it's so many people. I'm afraid of losing somebody. But I worked with a guy called Gary Means from. He used to work in this gallery called Unit 5 back in 2013. He used to run this cultural place. Do you remember a bus that was like in the middle of some kind of it was close to Old Street. It was like a parking place. There was like a big bus full of stuff. Well, anyway, we met him there.
Big Brick Lane, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, like that big parking lot, like that has.
Yeah,
like
there was.
right in Shoreditch. I know where that is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he helped me a bunch of times. My friend that used to live in London, Anselmo. I have a lot of friends who lives in London. And right now I'm working with this gallery called Dennis, I don't know the name. Is in Soho.
So here we go for all the fans. You want to get in touch? It's a good hint, so they can go and find you. Why not?
And here, Alex, we have a question from Evelyn that, well, she's asking that, well, and also as we have seen all the places that you have, you have done this kind of murals, etc. It's like, well, she's asking like, how important is travel for you? Is for your inspiration in general? So it's impacting in your work, the traveling, and you're getting ideas from that?
Oh yeah, my life completely changed after I start traveling. The main thing about traveling is like, and to me, I travel usually alone, so completely changed my everything that I'm doing, and completely changed my work, because I'm influenced by everything that is happening, and you have to deal with everything. You don't know the language, you have to make friends, work, do the mural. You have the responsibility of leaving something in the city. So to me is very, very important, and it's now that I'm not traveling, it's very hard to me, because traveling incorporates my lifestyle. So yeah, it's been tough for me.
Well, Alex, Senna, your talent is incalculable. It's amazing everything you do. And as you said, traveling is one of the main things. It is Arnaldo's bit of life and yours inspiration. So that's amazing. And thank you very much for being a Latin American show. And an artist like you, thank you very much for being here. And I hope so it's not the last one. Probably we can chat and another program, maybe a pure artist, and then do something else.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me and the opportunity to speak a little about my work and my country.
No,
and,
believe me, your art here is one of the most important parts, because as I said to you, everyone admires the street art. So, and having you in the show is amazing. Thank you.
And do you have a question, Arnaldo?
Yes. No, it's not a question, but just to say that you know about the favelas here in Brazil. Favela is like a shantytown, a slum, or something like that. We have a lot of graffitis going on in these favelas, in some of them being like an outdoor museum of these graffitis. And we have also in Rio's downtown, the Harbors area, they are trying to make like a sequence of beautiful wall graffitis outdoor, part of this attraction that we already have in Rio. I don't know if Alex are familiar with that.
Yeah, I've been to Rio, and I have many friends there that I saw what you're saying too. And I hope one day the authorities can understand the value of what the artists do, right, Arnaldo? It would be so good.
Yeah. But it's really interesting how they are trying to get these guys that make these graffitis that's just dirtiness, like a signature or a code, and trying to transform these guys in artists because they are really already artists, but they depend on some incentives for getting better and better, like Alex is and many others that we have. And this is something that's a nice job.
But believe me, Arnaldo and Alex, here in London, in North London, Banksy paint in a wall. He had a draw, and you're not gonna believe it, but they cut the wall. It was bricks, and then they cut it in a certain way. They preserve the graffiti of Banksy. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but Alex probably knows that. I don't know if you heard about Cobra. That's one graffiti artist in Brazil, very, very famous. In São Paulo, he made a beautiful job. And the mayor, as soon as he took place, he painted gray over all these graffitis. But was like miles, kilometers of graffitis, beautiful ones. And the guy went there just painting with gray over. You know, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say it's interesting because that's a topic that I cover with my advanced students. Like, art is graffiti art or vandalism? And that's how I came to know a lot of the graffiti in London. And it's beautiful. But at certain places, like there, I know Spain, like paints over it because technically they want to preserve some of the buildings. But I just think it adds more color and more culture and vibrance to each neighborhood. So again, thank you. Your art is phenomenal.
If I'm not wrong, Rio de Janeiro City has a law that allows you to make art graffiti in every public stuff.
Really?
The stuff means a wall, a post light, or whatever. But if it's a private one, you have to get the authorization. But in public one, they are, if I'm not wrong, they made even a law that allowed you.
Wow, I'm going to Rio tomorrow.
So exactly. So you have enough places now, Alex, that you can put use as a canvas and you can start doing your work. Thank you very much, Alex and Leonardo. I just want to say thank you very much for all the people that they are watching us and they are sending their commentaries, like Advijit, our friend Advijit, Nahida, that she's also saying hello to Advijit, Gary Dancy, that she was very exciting about this one, Linda Adamson, that she's saying greetings to Roger, myself and Whitney. Gabriela, also Christina, that is very good. They are saying that Brazil is the best people and most beautiful places there. So Juanita Costa, also thank you very much.
They are
Jim
McDaniel. All my clock, huh? I invite all them.
Okay, excellent. So Jim McDaniel saying Arnaldo mentioned 5 places to visit. But that is only on your first trip to Brazil because you will want to come back more times. I'm pretty sure we will. Also, Maria de Fatima, thank you very much. Also, we have shared the places that you can find Arnaldo and also the website when you can find all the work that Alex and also Whitney, you can share a little bit how people they can find the art of Alex here in London.
I did, it's in the comments.
And okay, she already put it. Thank you very much to Over the Andes that I've always how the artists imagine these elements will fit together. So yes, of course, it's actually it's completely art. And she's gonna put all the comment. Here in the commentary section with me, she's gonna put the places. So it's like moving on, and it's more like we would like to invite you, and I'm going just to present. That we have people. Next show is going to be an interesting one. We are going to have a gala, and we're going to have a special colorful one. So, I'm just going to put this video in order that people they know that they can participate also, and they can join us next week. This is going to be the reel for the next show. So, please with us.
pesares, como ese papel volando, negrita de mis pesares, como ese papel volando, a todos diles que sí, pero no les digas cuando así me dijiste a mí, por eso vivo penando.
So remember that, well, next show is going to be in Mexico, and we're going to have a lot of prizes for all the audience here in the United Kingdom. So invite your friends. It's going to be a fantastic show. It's going to be 2 hours. I know that, well, we are going to have amazing guests. And also, I know that Roger and Whitney, they don't know that the news that I'm going to say now, because also that reel that you have seen, I'm going to add another guest. Alondra de la Parra, who is orchestra, yes, Roger, she's a conductor. She's going to be with us and she's going to join us. And she is very well known as an ambassador of the classical and all the music around the world. So she's going to be with us. She's going to join us. So it's another guest that we're going to have next show. So it's going to be a fantastic news for us. So well, remember, all the people in the UK, no matter where is the nationality that you're from, you can win prizes. Like which ones, my dear Whitney?
So there's over £1,000 worth of prizes. Some of them include dinner for two, courtesy of Latitude Restaurant, Mestizo, La Chingada, a photo shoot and makeup session equivalent to around £500 by the famous Roger Alarcon, amongst other prizes to bakeries, grocery stores, and like I said, mezcal bottle, courtesy of Cynthia Mezcal, tequila margarita kit. Oh man, I kind of like want to miss the show so I can participate in these prizes, but a lot of really good prizes. So stay tuned. It'll be for a lot of people around like London, given the nature of all the prizes being London locations.
Yeah, so well, you can put, we already add this kind of event in our Facebook page, so you can put it in order that you know that, well, it's going to be next Tuesday at 8 o'clock from 8 to 10. We're going to have a lot of prizes. We are going to have a lot of different guests. We're going to have music. We're going to have mariachi. We're going to have folklore dances. So it's going to be just amazing, celebrating 210 years of the Mexican independence. So it's like, it's going to be a nice show. So please don't miss it. Invite your friends. I know that we are, it's almost 9, but well, we are here. So don't worry, Whitney. You don't have to run. It's your section. You know that we can stay more time. And actually, I think it's a very good thing because that means that we have amazing guests and we have a lot of amazing people here with us that we have to extend the show a little bit. So, well, Whitney, over you, and let's see, what do you have for us now?
Oh gosh. Okay. A little bit of pressure. Okay. So first of all, obviously we're going to talk about a little bit about Portuguese because shocking, they don't speak Spanish in Brazil. However, given that I'm not a Portuguese speaker at all, I'm going to be showing you kind of the similarities and differences between Portuguese and Spanish. But before we talk about language, a lot of shows, I present kind of like literature or a movie that I recommend from that country. And it's really hard to talk about Brazil without mentioning one of its great contemporary writers, Paulo Coelho. If you haven't heard of him, he's a famous author of many, many well-known novels such as The Alchemist, 11 Minutes, The Spy, and The Winner Takes It All. So I personally love his books. They're translated in many languages. So if you're looking forward to a good read and some inspiration, pick up one of his books. They are life-changing. Okay, back to language. Let me make it clear, again, not a Portuguese speaker. I've studied French, Spanish, even Italian, like a week of Arabic, and drop that very quickly because I prefer the Romance languages, but never Portuguese. So I apologize if the pronunciation is a bit off, but I've recruited some help from a few Brazilians prior to this episode, so it should be pretty accurate. So instead of adapting the language to the themes that we discussed in tonight's episode, I thought I'd show you a comparison of some words in Spanish and in Portuguese, particularly false cognates. Many of you might not know, but Spanish and Portuguese have about 89% lexical overlap. And that's like, lexical means like words, vocabulary. So many words are shared or similar between these two languages. Most of the frequent words share a common origin in Latin because, again, they're Latin-based languages. And several of them can differ in that they have either a broader or narrower meaning in one language than in the other, or their meanings are entirely different, which we'll see in a second. And on this basis, they're called falsos amigos in español, que significa false friends, pairs of words in two different languages that look or sound the same or similar, but have different meanings. They don't mean what you think they do. So here are yet totally random, a few random, but just common words used in day-to-day life that have different meaning. I'm going to turn this a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, S is Spanish, P Portuguese. So on the left-hand side, we have the verb traer. It's one of the many verbs that means to bring in Spanish, but in Portuguese, it looks very similar. Traer, it's to betray. That also in Spanish, to betray someone is traicionar. So again, traer, traer, sounds the same, different. Acordar. So if it's acordar in Spanish, it means to agree, but acordarse, making it reflexive, hence adding the se at the end, means to remember. But acordar in Portuguese means to be awake or to wake up, which would be despertarse in Spanish, or despertar if you're waking someone else up. Contestar. The same in both, contestar, contestar. But in Spanish, it's one of the two verbs that means to answer, sea una llamada, contestar una pregunta. But contestar in Portuguese means to challenge or contest something. And this would be disputar in Español, es un ejemplo. And ironically, the word in Portuguese to answer is responder, which is the same in Spanish. There are two verbs that you can use for that. Okay, moving on. We have, oops, I didn't put a, oh yeah, here it is. La cena. Okay, la cena is dinner in Spanish, but in Portuguese, la cena is a scene, like scene. La escena, as we say in Spanish. And then we have la cadera. If you know a little bit of Shakira, who hips don't lie, la cadera, you might know this word. If you're not a Spanish speaker, it means hip. La cadera means chair in Portuguese, la silla. In Español. And then, okay, el escritorio. In Spanish, el escritorio significa como un pupitre or desk. But I think it's u escritorio, or no, o escritorio. Oh, okay, yeah, I thought the first one, the article. O escritorio means office or la oficina. And two things about this. First of all, we learned last week about definite and indefinite articles in Spanish. So today we use the definite ones, el or la for masculine and feminine. And in Portuguese, as you can see, the la is the same, but instead of el, it's o. And I keep wanting to say u because sometimes you pronounce o's differently. For example, if an o is at the end of a word, it makes a u sound. And there's a lot more that has to do with o's, like with different accents and how you pronounce them, but we will get to that in a different episode. So a rato, which in Spanish, getting to that. Okay, a rato is like, and this is funny because it's a false cognate. We think it means like a rat, but it actually means like a period of time, like a while. Tienes un rato, like do you have a moment? It's some period of time. And then, but o rato is rat, la rata in Portuguese. And then the color rojo, red, I believe it's roxo for in Portuguese, and that's purple or morado. And then we have rubio, blonde, and then rubio is redhead in Portuguese, or pelirrojo in Spanish, or pelirroja como yo. And then largo in Spanish, this is a false cognate again because you want to say that it means large, but it actually means long. But largo in Portuguese is like wide, or how we would say ancho or amplio in Español. And then the last one, this is such a false cognate in Spanish. Embarazada means pregnant, and it's feminine for a reason. And embarazada in Portuguese means embarrassed, what we would think it means. And to say embarrassed, it's like tiene vergüenza, tener vergüenza, or estar, una persona está avergonzada, avergonzada in español. And yeah, like I said, some of these look very, very similar, but they have totally different meanings. And one thing to notice in embarazada in Portuguese, a lot of these accents are different in Portuguese than they are in Spanish. And a lot of the accents are the same as the French accent. Like this C is the C, like we call it the CD in French, and it allows for a C to make an S sound. You see it when you see the word in French, français. So just so you know, like some of those accents, and they have like the circumflex on some of the O's, are very similar to French. So if you are a French speaker, you, I'm sure, recognize that right away. And then we're on to our final segment, which is heard on the street. So these are some things that if you were to go and travel to Brazil and help that like tourist industry, these are a couple of things you might hear in your surroundings. So one of them is "E ahí," which is "What's up?" It's like "¿Qué tal?" "¿Qué onda?" si estuviéramos en Mexico. And then "Tá bom" is all good, or you could say "tá" alone, like "tá." It's like "Todo bien," like is everything good? And just looking at those two first expressions, I want to emphasize punctuation, because in Spanish, whenever we have, whether it's a question mark or an exclamation point, they're upside down at the beginning of the sentence, or for a question mark, like when you're about to initiate the question. And you have the regular ones at the end. In Portuguese, from what I've gathered and seen, it's just regular punctuation, as if, as far as like the exclamation point and the question mark at the end. So that's something else that is a little bit more similar in English than it would be in Spanish. And then a couple more words, beleza. It's very similar to Spanish belleza, which means beauty, but it can also be used to convey agreement, although it can have a negative connotation, like showing some sort of disdain. It can be used positively, just like the word joya, which is very similar to the word joya in Espanol, que significa jewel. And yes, it's used to convey agreement, but at the same time, it can also express like that you're doing well if it's used in a situation like over on the screen, like todo bien, like everything okay, todo joya, everything's great. And then the last few, okay, this is a word we talk about pretty much every episode in Spanish, the 100 ways you can say cool. In Spanish, a couple of them that look similar to this is bacano, bacan, and of course bacana, which mean cool. So very similar. You see it a lot in Latin America, South America. And then cara, this literally means both in Spanish and Portuguese face, but it's used to say like a guy as well, or man. And then the last one, gachino, gachina. I think gachina is a little bit more common, but it means like someone who's really good looking, like hot, una persona que está buena. And it comes from the word gato, which means cat, but also can mean it in a more vulgar way. So gachino is like a more suave, like nicer way of saying that. And that's it as far as Portuguese. I'd say go to my channel, Making Spanish Simple, but you're not going to find any Portuguese there. So that's my segment for tonight. Again, not a Portuguese speaker, but I can look at the words and kind of differentiate them because it's a Romance language thing, and that's what Portuguese is. There's so many similarities to Spanish as far as pronunciation, but also French as far as punctuation, accents. So I'd say if you have any questions, ask me, but stick to
Yes,
the
I've got a
ones
question,
French.
teacher.
No.
Now I want to hear from Arnaldo and from Alex.
Oh no. I was kind of hoping they'd leave
muito
during
bom,
this.
muito bom.
Oh gosh, I'm not
Very
even.
good news.
Well
Oh, I'm
then,
not a Portuguese. When Enrique said, "Oh, it's just in Portuguese," I thought, "Oh, this took
No,
longer to find."
Sorry, at the beginning of the show, you knew, from the beginning, you knew that Latin America has a
I
country that
So-
speaks Portuguese. So that
I
was
know,
not
but you
my
also
fault.
have a country that's totally your fault, and you also have a country like Haiti. They speak French. Done.
Ah,
That's
yeah.
easy for
Well,
me.
that
That's
one
my
is going to be
second
another one, but
language.
I'm not going to put you a simple
Brazil,
one. You need a challenge. You need a challenge. That's the
Okay.
reason why we went to Brazil and not to Haiti.
working with you guys, that's the challenge.
Well,
Kidding. You're
now
lovely.
let's hear from Alex. Alex, tell
Oh,
us
no.
something nice. How you say a nice thing to a girl, like when you know her.
Just be nice. I mean, I like.
Words.
Tá bom, tá
Alex,
bom.
remember that I love your art, so be kind right now.
Just be. No, I love it. I love it. It's okay. It's okay. Just the part of the tá bom, I don't know where they say tá bom. Tudo
I had
bem.
a couple. Yeah, I have a couple like students who ran through those expressions for me.
Oh,
So,
maybe
they
change-
recognized some and they
Course.
didn't recognize others, but I got them
No,
from
but
like a
it's fine.
mix. Yeah.
It's fine.
So if
Which
not,
ones-
then
Which
they're in
ones are
trouble if they're wrong.
the street ones? The street ones. I want to hear one from street from
No.
Arnaldo.
Yeah, first of all, Brazil is really interesting because we all speak Portuguese, but depending which region or which state, we have different accents, but not as in totally different, but it makes a difference. But in Rio, first of all, the R in the beginning or in the middle of the word sounds like an H. Then, for example, my name, Arnaldo, we don't say Arnaldo, we say Arnaldo.
Ah,
Arnaldo.
Arnaldo. Okay.
Then, for example, when you say rato, we don't say rato, we
Rato.
say rato.
Oh, hatu. Yeah, with the H.
Hatu.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the accent here in Rio. But I have to to teach you the street way to say the last one. That's
Oh, no.
gatinha.
Gatinha. Okay.
gatinha. Yeah, but we don't say gatinha. If you want to say something nice, say
Is it gato?
gatinha. You have to
Oh,
say
okay, got it. Because I
So
initially found
the tone is
I-
very basic there.
Yes,
The tone, the
well,
way
tone
that you're
is-
going to say it.
tone is everything. So I initially found gato. I did a bunch of research on this, and one of my
Yeah.
students is like, "No, don't put that in. Like, say
No,
this
for
word. It's a
example,
little bit
here at
more."
home, we have 2 dogs and a cat. But here we have 2 dogs and a cat. Yeah? Then sometimes my wife says something and I say, what? No, I'm talking to the gato. Okay, talk to me. But at home, it doesn't work anymore, you know?
And well, I can imagine Arnaldo and Alex that, well, maybe, of course, as Brazil is too big and too extended, of course, I think so you have different words in different regions, different kind of pronunciations, maybe. I don't know what that happens in Spanish. And I think so that maybe in Brazil also, you have like a lot of different accents, a lot of different words that you are using, and also the pronunciation, it could be completely different because also all this migration that you have suffered during the years, that becomes that, well, of course, you are like evolving and you are creating a different kind of language, no, in that way.
Yeah.
Hi, Alex.
Yeah.
But Alex, tell us a word you use a lot. Like in many places we hear we use it, but which one do you use the most as a Portuguese speaker?
A word.
On the street? Like one of those
Mano.
ones.
Mano.
Mano.
Yeah, yeah. What's up, dude? He's like, yeah,
Ah.
Mano. Okay.
Mano.
I'm adding that to my list. Hey,
very,
Alex,
It's
you want to
like
come
cara.
on next
Hey.
show?
I think so.
The Portuguese section.
yeah,
I think so that you are a little bit disappointed, Roger, because I think so Roger has been a little bit more like, he tries to poke you in order to say a bad word or something.
Yes,
I think so. He's pushing a lot, but not Roger. No. They are like people that Arnaldo and Alex, they never use this kind of words,
never said
okay?
Yeah, first of all, there are some slangs, and slangs is something, the language very alive. You go change and having new slangs every day, you know? But we talk about the difference between different states and regions. For example, you go to Bahia. In Bahia, people are more like slow down than in São Paulo. And for example, in Rio, mother, the word for mother is mamãe, but we say just mãe. But we don't mãe, we say mãe. That's the way that we call mother, mãe. But you go to Bahia, they say, oh mãe. There is like a slowdown. Then you have the same word, but spoken in a very different accent. And there is an example that I give to every tourist that I be Dutch. That's we have a phrase, a sentence that the meaning is just the hot milk pain your teeth, but doesn't matter the meaning. But in Portuguese, I say leite quente dá dor de dente na gente. That's the way that I speak this in you. Leite quente, dor de dente na gente. But you go to the south of Brazil, where we had a lot of German colonization, they speak the same thing in that way. Leite quente, dor de dente na gente.
Wow.
The same thing, but completely different accent, you know?
So pretty much, it's very challenging.
The first time I met a Brazilian woman, she was speaking like she was dancing, and it was so lovely. I say, just I don't understand you, but keep talking. You sound so nice. The sound like a
very musical.
Talking. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it's really interesting to learn about the different accents and words from region to region. Normally I touch upon that like in the Spanish like lessons, like in Argentina, the je and like Colombia, but obviously not knowing the language is it like hinders like one from being able to explain the pronunciation. So thank you for showing us some of those details that I would have shown if it was one of my like 3 or 4 languages of study. So thank you. It's really interesting.
Also, Whitney, I think so they use a lot the Inyo at the end, like to be like very nice with people, no? Alexinho, Arnaldinho, no?
Is that like the
it's
diminutive,
more to be
like
sweet
Ito?
with someone. Sorry?
Is that like Ito or Ita, like the diminutive?
Yeah, it could be like Ito or something. Yeah, it's
or
more
like
to be
Iko?
sweet with someone, no? Like, Alexinho, no? It's like, Arnaldinho, because, well, they are like more my friends, Rogercinho, no? It could be like...
Okay. So for
Nisinha, we can call you with Nisinha now.
Hey,
okay. Yeah, and just like in Spanish, for those of you who don't understand this, it's a diminutive. You add like in Spanish, it's ito or ita at the end for most of, and then ico or ica if you're in like Colombia, and it's like it kind of like makes it like more suave. So yeah, just to explain to those who don't understand Portuguese or Spanish in our audience.
Important to see that the Portuguese in Brazil, that in Portugal they prefer to say that we Brazilian, not Portuguese, is we have a big influence of the natives, the indigenous, a lot of words and names in that original language, Tupi Guarani, but also a lot of slaves that they brought from Africa, from different groups and different places with different dialects or languages. And then the Portuguese and Spanish we had in the North Brazil, the Dutch also colonizing for a while. Then our language is a mix of this. For a while during the colonization, the fashion was to speak French, and we have a lot of words that in French that we adopt, but nowadays in English as well. Then it's important.
Yeah,
excellent.
Languages is constantly evolving.
Yeah, and it's really good to know that once you travel there, of course, if you can just like try to understand the different accent, it's going to be a challenge. Yeah, as Arnaldo said, the different kind of pronunciation. So, thank you very much, Alex, and thank you very much, Arnaldo. It has been a pleasure having you here. It's an honor for us having people like they know perfectly their country, they know perfectly about arts, and you are like very welcome to come again, and to enjoy and let us know once this pandemic, let us know about the different trips, Arnaldo, and of course, Alex, when you will have any other exhibition or something, please come here and just let us know. We know that people, they can know where then they can find all your fantastic work.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I think so. Thank you, my dear Arnaldo. And I think so, Roger, we have, I think so like an announcement for one of our friends, and also is one of our sponsors that they are like from Latitude Restaurant. So, it's like, I think so he's looking for this.
Wow, Latitude is extending the Eat Out to help out to stay out all Tuesdays of September and October. They're gonna do the 50% of food up to £10 per head, but it's very important, need to book in advance, okay? It's very important to book in advance and to purchase a drink. And also they have another promotion, early Wednesdays from 5:30 till 7 p.m. A burger, chips, and a beer Corona for £10. So it's in Wimbledon, Merton Road 138.
Well, it looks really nice. It looks really tasty. So, well, it's like, and also, well, I just want to say to all the people that they were participating with us in our chat, also Liliana Beck, that well, well, we're going to share where that you can see the all this work from Alex. And over the Andes Mexican Independence celebrations. Yes, of course, invite your friends, invite everyone. Olga Bonner, she's saying very nice. Yvonne Velasquez, thank you, Arnoldo and Alex, for sharing such great art and interesting facts about Rio and Brazil. Yvonne also, she's saying that well to the Mexican Gala, she's looking forward for the Mexican Gala. Yvonne Ungerer, it says big Arnaldo, grande Arnaldo, no? And Yvonne, it says that she said that well,
Arnaldo.
Que viva, sorry?
Arnaldo.
Arnaldo, sorry. Grande Arnaldo. Yvonne Velasquez is saying que viva el portuñol, of course, because well, we speak portuñol sometimes. Yes, of course. So well, thank you, my dear Arnaldo. It has been a pleasure having you here in this show. So hopefully we have the opportunity to see you soon. Thank you very much, Arnaldo. Have a good evening. And well, of course, well, thank you very much, my dear Whitney.
Oh, okay. Well, just like Enrique said, we have that big event, so I don't have to spoil anything for you. I will be missing the first part a little bit due to work obligation, but I will join as soon as possible because I'm really excited to join you guys in talking dance, music, including mariachi, and of course, tequila. So stay tuned. And the Spanish segment's going to be a little different next time, but I'm going to keep that a surprise, and you'll see. We're going to learn a little bit more than just words in Spanish.
Excellent, my dear Whitney. My dear Roger Alarcon.
Well, it's been a pleasure to do this show. That was really amazing today. I learned some of the pronunciation in Portuguese, which is really important. And well, I'm so happy for the next episode. And thank you very much for our two honored guests we had today, Alex and Arnaldo. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Thank you very much, my dear Roger. And well, of course, well, as Roger said, well, please just to remind you that, well, next show is going to be a fantastic opportunity that you can win amazing prizes. Invite your friends. As you can see, there are like more than 1,000 pounds of prizes. So it's going to be very easy. You just have to, well, to start watching the show at 8 o'clock London time. Remember to follow us in all our social networks. You can find us on YouTube, in Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's very easy to find us. You only have to type the Latin America Show. This show is every Tuesday from 8 to, well, at 8 p.m. because, well, you can see, I can say only that we start at 8 p.m. We don't know at what time we're going to finish. But, well, at 8 p.m. you can tune us on Facebook. It's going to be very easy. The Latin America Show every Tuesday. Thank you very much. See you next Tuesday with these fantastic surprises and this special gala that we're going to have for you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, a good night, and see you next week.